Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Dario here with another Options and Play video update. Well, what do you know? They're back, huh? All these like Reddit meme momentum plays have just exploded this week, and there's been all sorts of all sorts of things moving around. I mean, it's AMC and GME, but there's a lot of other names moving with it, almost like it was like a like a signal for like this entire group to just start coming to life again. And one of the things that's been common on a lot of different stocks this week and what we saw back in January was like this super aggressive, way out of the money option volume, right? Call buying on AMC last week during the VTF, we were talking about how there was September 40 strike calls going off, big blocks of them, right? And at the time, I thought it was crazy, and to be honest, I still think it's crazy, right? I mean, 40 is a huge move, um, but what we were talking about, and one of the things that we kind of wanted to like put on your radar, well, actually, there's two things. It's one is that you don't need a stock to get to the strike price to make money, right? I mean, this might seem like common sense, but I mean, just because people are buying the 40 strike calls for September, that doesn't mean the stock has to get to 40 for you to make money in those options, right? I mean, people that bought those options probably made quite a bit of money over the last couple of days as the stock has gone parabolic, right? So you can sell the call, like you could buy the calls when it's at 15, the stock goes to 25 plus, and those options are going to be gaining pretty substantially. So you can close the stock, right, for a nice potential winner without it having come nowhere near 40, right? So that's one thing to remember. But when you're trading those out of the money options, it's just you have to be mindful of implied volatility and time, right? So if you have a lot of time, that's one thing because there's still plenty of opportunities for it to work and continue to move. If you're trading way out of the money options and you only have a couple days or maybe like a week, that's a different story. You have to manage those options very closely because like a move lower now and the implied volatility coming out of it, you could see the premiums really get crushed quickly. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is because there's so much interest on options that are so far out of the money, like those 40s, that it sets up a lot of interesting opportunities for spreads. Okay, so because the premiums are so high on those contracts that are deep out of the money, you can oftentimes design call spreads that are more interesting from like a risk to reward perspective because you can get contracts that are much closer to the money for maybe around like the same net debit, right? So if the September 40s were trading for like $1.75 to $2, you might have been able to get options that were like say 25 to 40 net debit wise for about the same price. And I think it was something similar to that. It was like the net debit of the contracts because the premiums were so high on those like far out of the money ones where you could get like spreads that were 15 points wide for about the same net debit, right? So if the stock got into above 25, your options are already moving into the money. Whereas if you bought the 40s and it trades into the high 20s, they're obviously not into the money, right? So just something to be aware of is like if you see like those like deep out of the money options going off, maybe look at like spreads, right? Like maybe utilize those like crazy premiums more to your advantage by like looking at like spreads or calendars or maybe like flies, right? Because those premiums can like work in your favor if the implied volatility starts to come down, especially if you're in contracts that are closer to the money or maybe like at the money. Okay, so just a couple things I wanted to point out. Lots going on this week, a lot of things flying around. I'm expecting a busy Friday, so hopefully we wrap up the week on a nice note. Everybody enjoys a long weekend, all right? So if you like this video and you're looking for more information about just trading options, like on these types of names or managing options, which I'm always talking about, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options and play. Hope you have a wonderful night. Stay well, and I will talk